Okay, welcome to the Mystic Path. This is going to be the new moon in Aquarius reading. Here we are in February already. I'm gonna light some incense here. Usually I do that before. My apologies. I just all of a sudden felt called to do it. Okay. Okay, so this is what it's all about, folks. We've been hearing, right? We've been hearing about the new Age of Aquarius since December 21st, 2020. Because that was the hubbub, right? I mean, that's the lunar eclipse happened. Everybody's like, we're moving into the Age of Aquarius. It's going to be amazing. And we've been talking about it for months. Well, this is it. This new moon, this is it, baby. Okay? This is this energy we've been talking about that's going to help usher humanity in, right? To a new way of being, living, interacting. I'm very excited about it. A lot of people are very excited about it. I'm very excited about it. I just feel like having the gifts I have, I felt this coming for many, many years, and it's been a challenge because when you know it's coming and you know that we're going to have the opportunity as a whole to level up as humans, when you know that's coming and then you're still having to sit in the energies of like school shootings, the pandemic, right? All the election nonsense of 2016 where everybody was just fighting with each other and so hateful, right? It was hard to sit through and watch all that and I didn't participate, but it was a challenge to stay in my observer mode a lot because I knew what was ahead for us and I could feel it and I would get visions of it. And so when we were experiencing all this trauma over the last 5 years or so, George Floyd, all the racism coming to a head, the statues being torn down, all of that stuff needed to happen, right? But those are low vibration energies. Those energies are anger, envy, resentment, hate, judgment, right? Those are lower vibration energies. So when you know that we're capable of more and that we're gonna change and grow into something better, it's hard to sit through that stuff. But you just have to be patient. So I just have to say for myself personally, I'm very excited about this Aquarius energy and I'm very excited about 2021. Although, change doesn't happen overnight. We're not all of a sudden gonna go from the craziness of 2020 into this wonderful enlightened utopia. That's just not how it works. We still have work to do and we still have a transition. We're on the cusp. We have the transition still to make. And that's going to take time because people have to adjust, right? We have to adjust to the changes happening in society. Just like with all that Me Too stuff. That's another thing that I had to kind of sit through and watch. And although it was good that this stuff is all we have to sit through that stuff and let that stuff play out because that's how we release those things from the collective, right? If somebody didn't stand up and we didn't talk about and experience all this trauma around sexual harassment or sexual assault or whatever the experience, because there are many different ones, we can't alchemize and release those things and move forward, right? You can't move forward and grow until you release the things that hold you back. So we had to go through all that stuff. But it's just difficult to do when you have a sense that like we're gonna evolve and get better. It makes you very impatient, okay? So that's all. So I'm very excited about this time, even though it's still gonna be a little wobbly. I'm still very excited about it because I feel like finally humanity is starting to see all the places that we can do better, right? Because this can't be, how all that stuff I just mentioned, that can't be the best we can do as a collective. So now that we're starting to address these issues and talk about these issues, we'll be able to find solutions so that we can do better than this as a collective. Okay, so today's reading, we're going to use the Spellcasting Oracle, Beyond Lemuria Oracle cards, Whispers of Healing for the advice, then for the Tarot, Dark Mansion Tarot, and Rider Waite Original here for clarification if we need it. This Dark Mansion, it's from, I want to say, Portugal. That might not be right. I don't know, I feel like that's not right. So disregard what I said about Portugal, but look it up. Okay, the studio here. You can look it up if you're interested, because these cards, I love them. They're very unique. I ordered them. It took them weeks to get here, and I could not wait. Anyway, okay, so this is what we got going on. We're going to talk a little bit about what to expect with these new moon energies, right? So again, if you're not watching this on the new moon and the messages have found you at a different time, then that's when the messages are meant for you, okay? So keep that in mind. You draw in and attract the things you need at the time for what you're going through with your energy. So it's okay if you're not watching this on the new moon in February 2021. That's fine. Whenever you find this, that's when you're meant to receive the things I'm saying and what the universe is saying through me, okay? So the good news is we're moving into the Age of Aquarius. Like I said, this is the time that everybody's been talking about. So this is it, folks. The main energies kind of supporting this new moon are good energies, and they're about friendship, brotherhood and sisterhood, right? Socializing, connecting with others, and doing group projects. Humanitarian efforts will be happening a lot right now around this energy. This is a really good time to innovate and think outside the box to create whatever your hopeful vision is for the future, for whatever it is you're dealing with. You know, if you're unhappy in your job, then now's a really good time to set intentions to visualize a more hopeful outcome. What is it I want for my job? You know, imagine it, dream it for a minute, honor it, and then release it out into the universe so that you can attract it. Okay? So, you know, this is a time where all things feel possible and all things are possible. Okay? So, again, new moon's really good for new beginnings. You know, starting new chapters with people maybe that you just forgave, or having new beginnings with people you're just meeting, setting intentions for like what it is you want to manifest in this next month. Like I just said, the job thing is a perfect example. If you, and even if you're not unhappy in your job, but if it's not what you, if you don't feel like, okay, they always give me this vision of like a puzzle. And the reason a puzzle works, right, is because every individual piece is being its piece and owning it and playing its part. And you couldn't have a complete, harmonious, beautiful image on the puzzle if one or more of the pieces were like, I'm not going to be this piece, I want to be this piece. Well, we already have this piece. We don't need you to be this piece. We need you to be the piece that you are. Right? So that's kind of what they're saying is like, your energy is no good to the universe and the collective if you're not being your piece. Be who you are. Be authentic. Own it. Honor it. Don't apologize for it. Don't shame yourself or allow yourself to be shamed for it. Just be your puzzle piece, right? Because that's how we get a happy and harmonious collective and peace within, is by being our authentic selves and not apologizing for it and not, and not accommodating others. I'm going to change my puzzle piece just a little bit so this person's more comfortable. No, because then it still won't fit in the slot it's supposed to go, right? Because every piece in the puzzle has to be its piece for the puzzle to cohesively go together and create a beautiful image. Okay? So that's kind of what they're saying here. Not just this new moon, but every new moon energy is good for us to kind of like look to the next month and what can I do in the next month to take steps to be more authentic? And you may not know. You may think, I'm being my puzzle piece. But if you're unhappy or depressed or in despair or angry, or toxically positive, okay? Because there is such a thing as toxic positivity. You're not being your puzzle piece, right? Because being your puzzle piece means being who you are. And if that means in this moment I'm depressed, then that's what that means. You have to own it, honor it, in order to release it, right? So the point is, sometimes we think we know we're doing what our passion is, but you would know. Somebody described it to me once. If you can sit down and do it, and the next thing you know, you look up at the clock and like 4 or 5 hours have gone by and it felt like 5 minutes, that's your puzzle piece. That's who you're supposed to be, right? Now, I understand we can't always do that. We can't always, we have responsibilities, we have bills, this job we may need to have because it pays what we need it to pay in this moment. But that doesn't mean stay stuck there. It means set intentions, create a strategy so that you can move towards being your puzzle piece. And if you don't know what being your puzzle piece is, that's okay. Start investigating it. Start asking yourself, or start being, I don't want to, first off, before you start asking yourself questions, because that can be stressful and overwhelming, first start just being mindful and start noticing your own behaviors and energy, okay? If you're doing the dishes and you notice, oh, I have an angry look on my face and my eyebrows are all, I have a scowl and my forehead is all scrunched and I'm here in the house by myself and I have no reason to be mad or angry at the dishes, right? The dishes isn't a fun task, but there's no reason to be scowling and frustrated about it, right? So that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Be mindful in the moment and then start to ask yourself, like, if I'm home all by myself and I haven't really had a bad day. Why am I scowling right now? Because, sometimes it's just programming, or we've been told so many times, or we've told ourselves so many times silly things like, I don't like doing the dishes. I hate doing the dishes. If every time you do the dishes, you tell yourself, I hate doing the dishes, you're programming. Our brain is nothing more than an organic computer. And when you really understand the brain and the science, you really start to see that it is nothing but a computer. And we are programming it every single day. Our parents program it when we're little and we're being raised. Society programs it. Our friends program it. And we also program it. So if I'm constantly saying to myself, I hate doing the dishes, I hate doing the dishes, I hate doing the dishes, I'm programming my brain to hate doing the dishes, right? So then every time I do the dishes, I'm going to stand there with a scowl on my face and just be in this gross energy because I've programmed myself to be there, right? But and I bring this dish thing up because that's something I used to do. And I would notice, I would walk by a mirror in my house and realize I had a scowl on my face. And I'd be like, what am I mad about? There's nobody else here but me and my cats. I don't have anything to be mad about. Or sometimes I did, but then it was a good opportunity for me to address that thing that I was mad about, right? It was also a good opportunity for me to start to realize, I don't even know why I have this scowl on my face. And then I started realizing it's just because I was programmed in a very pessimistic way. And so I had to start reprogramming myself. And you can do that in simplest ways. And that's just trying to find joy in the simplest things, like doing the dishes. That will reprogram yourself, right? So, for example, now when I have to do the dishes, I put on my favorite playlist and I crank it up and I do the dishes and I have a dance party in the kitchen and I sing at the top of my lungs. And now it's a joyful experience for me, right? Because I did that over and over and over again until I started feeling like the dishes were gonna be fun. And now it's I'm oh, I got dishes in there to do. And I do still have those moments where I'm ugh. But then immediately I'm oh no, it's going to be fun. I'm going to put the music on. It's going to be fun. I'm going to get a good 20 minutes, 10 minutes to myself to just be in my body and dance around and have fun, right? So I just bring that up because, we want to start trying to understand. Again, I always talk about, everybody always uses these buzzwords, be mindful, this, that, but nobody ever really even tells you how to do that or what that is. So that dish story, that's a way to tell you how to reprogram. That's a way I reprogrammed myself on something small like the dishes, like a chore that I don't really like doing, but it has to be done, right? So we can apply that same kind of experiment, reprogramming, to any situation in our life. If we are around somebody who constantly triggers us, the answer is not to just never be around that person again. Well, maybe it is, depending on the trigger and the toxicity. But for the most part, the answer is to go within and ask ourselves, why am I being triggered? And then if you don't have a good explanation why you're being triggered, and there's not a trauma that you need to work on healing, then usually it falls back into programming of some kind, right? So then you can start asking yourself, who taught me? Where did I get this belief? Why do I think that, right? Anyway, so we're going to get back to it really quickly because they want to get to the cards, and so do I. So just a couple other things for this new moon energy coming is, you're probably noticing you might be in a financial upswing right now. This energy right now in Aquarius is going to be really good for business type things, okay? You're going to have really good judgment right now, and you're going to be very mentally active. So it's a really good time to make some positive movement forward in that area of your life. Maybe that's why earlier they had me using the job as an example, because this is a really good time to kind of focus on business, job, career, all that. Okay, and like I said, you might be experiencing a financial upswing right now. The energy is really supportive of that. Now, there are a few things to kind of think about, because when it comes to non-business stuff, okay, the energy right now is really ripe for us to want to repress our emotions or to feel moody about things. We may feel irritation. We may, it's going to be more challenging for us during this time to stay in our peace around our family and friends, okay? Because those are usually the people that trigger us the most, right? And we don't wear our professional mask when we're in a work environment, a business environment. All of us have like a professional mask we wear, because there are certain things that are acceptable, not acceptable in the business world. So you won't really have to worry about like repressing or lashing out at anybody in business. But when it comes to like family and friends, that's when we're like really let our guard down, right? And that's when, if we get triggered, we might just react from that like comfort zone. So anyway, those are just some things to look out for. This energy is really good overall. Like I said, it's very supportive of like group projects, communities supporting each other, humanitarian efforts, brotherhood, sisterhood. I said all of that. Also, we are in February. We're kind of right around the time Valentine's Day is going to be coming up. This is also a really ripe time for like romance, marriage, partnership, maybe something new happening in those arenas, because it is a new moon. So let's just keep in mind that right now all things are possible, but we're going to want to be mindful, and we might have to work a little bit harder to stay like in our alignment, in our peaceful, calm vibration, because there is a little energy around that we may feel a little irritable, annoyed, moody, etc. Okay? So, without further ado, let's get onto the cards. All right? We're going to use the Lemuria deck here. Let's just get an energy pull for this new moon in Aquarius. Let's say for the next 2 weeks, what are we going to be feeling? What is the energy for the group watching here? These new cards are still stiff. Okay. Energies for this new moon in Aquarius. Oops, catching the decor on fire there. Anything else? Okay. Fire at the bottom of the deck. May have some fire signs watching. I'm a fire sign. Okay. The energy here we have root chakra, sacral chakra, the violet flame, healing, okay. I feel like the root chakra and the sacral chakra are here because these are the two main chakras we've really been working through as a human collective through most of 2020. Okay, your root chakra deals with safety, security, okay? Your sacral chakra deals with empowerment, confidence, self-confidence. And so I feel like those two cards are here because we're finally, like, we've been stirring up all of the stuff that's been happening in society. Think about it. We've had a lot of anger, a lot of aggression. Everybody's safety and stability has been threatened with the pandemic. Lots of people are out of jobs and, facing eviction. There's a lot going on. And when people are out of work, then you start to feel less empowered. And that people feel less empowered because when you realize how dependent everyone is on I feel like 2020 kind of taught us that everyone globally is very dependent on the matrix of society globally. And I don't think everyone realized how dependent we all were on that matrix until the pandemic happened, and then it pushed every system in the matrix to its brink. And now people are not, people are struggling with feeling empowered because you start to realize you are dependent on these structures and these things, and without them you can't stand alone and be confident in your safety and security, right? So I feel like the good news is the violet flame and healing. I feel like what's happening is we're starting finally to heal those two chakras in the collective. And the reason 2020 was so traumatizing for so many is because that's why. It's because we were just stirring up both of those chakras to get all that stuff out, to make everyone aware of all those things, all of this stuff that's been going on, the racism, the sexism, the systems that aren't really supporting us because they're so corrupt. I could go on and on, so I'm not going to name it all, but you get what I'm saying. So we were stirring all that stuff up because you can't even begin to heal it until you've stirred it up and you've brought it out in the open, right? And that's a very painful, traumatic experience, as we have all just come through 2020, right? Doesn't mean it's completely over, but what it does mean is now we can start healing the collective issues that have to do with both of these chakras because we've stirred them up and we're all aware now of just how dependent on the matrix we all are, right? So the good news is, just as promised, the Age of Aquarius, all about the healing. We got the healing card here, okay? And the violet flame, this is just telling me here, we're being supported in the cosmos by this. There are lots and lots of, I would say it's a given at this point that pretty much everyone understands that we're not alone in this universe. It is so gigantic and we're just one little dot, right? And we're just fleas on the dot in the grand scheme of things. So of course we're not alone. And of course, there are other sentient beings out there. And of course, a good amount of them are more advanced than humans. So this violet flame is here to tell us that they're helping, they're supporting, they're helping, and they're doing their best to help Earth and the humans on it start to heal and level up, I'm hearing. Rise to the occasion, okay? So we're being supported in the cosmos by not just our ancestors, but also other alien entities in their now moment. All right. Let's see. What is the energy in this new moon for those watching? 2 cards, please. What is the energy in this new moon for those watching? Whoa. Oh. Okay. It's funny. I said 2 cards. And 2 cards fell face up on the floor. So give me just a minute. They slid right off the deck into my lap onto the floor. Anyway, okay, so the energy of those of you watching, willpower and dreams during these next few weeks. Okay. So, what I'm getting here is that those of you watching in the next few weeks, you're going to be getting a lot of messages from the universe in your dreams. You're also going to have to really step into your willpower during this new moon to kind of do what I talked about earlier. It's going to be a little bit of a challenge for us to stay in alignment and stay in our peaceful energy when we're dealing with like family and friends and the people around us. So that's what this willpower card's about. We're really going to have to just stay in use our willpower to stay aligned and to be mindful, and even when we're feeling triggered, to take a step back and pause and think about, what is this? Does this have to do with me? Is this person projecting? Am I projecting on them? Are they projecting on me? Is this just a misunderstanding? Are we just reacting right now, right? So anyway, I know it's not always that easy, and sometimes you get swept up in it, and that's fine too. You know what I mean? We can't beat ourselves up. If we get swept up into things, we just have to forgive ourselves, and then in the next moment, do better. All right? All right. Ugh, I love these cards. I'm so excited to use these cards today. So, give me the story, please, of those people watching. Where are we coming from? Where are we going? So, 3 cards. Past, present, future. Where are we coming from? Where are we going? 3 cards, please. Okay. Oh, okay. Look at that. I was asking in my head, can I have a present card? And they said it's already there. Wait, future card, please. Woo! All right. Bottom of the deck, the world. That's always good. The world's about completing cycles, learning lessons, moving forward. All right, well, let's see what we got here. Okay. All right. Okay, so. Okay. All right. So, okay. So this is what I'm getting for those of you watching. We're coming from a place of chaos. We've really been judging ourselves harshly, and and we've had this attitude of it's my way or the highway. I'm just chuckling because I understand this energy. I used to be this energy. Not anymore, but the energy basically that we're basically, we judge ourselves very harshly, and we have had this attitude for a while of like, it's my way or the highway. And I'm also being, it's funny, we're in the middle of a pandemic, and I'm being drawn to the fact that this dude's wearing a mask and it's not over his nose. It's hilarious. I probably never would have read that card that way before 2020. So it's just funny. So what I'm getting here is we're coming from a place of, I see. Okay, we're coming from a place of being spread too thin. Okay? It seems like we have a lot going on. We're always doing for everybody else. We always, and we're very rigid about it. We have, I'm sorry, I don't mean to say we. You guys watching, whoever this is resonating for, you've been in this kind of like, I'm spread so thin, and that's why things have to be the way I need them to be, because I don't have any extra energy to waste. So it's my way or the highway, because I have too much going on and I don't have time to waste. So if you can't comply, then I can't be bothered. Okay, I'm feeling that's been the attitude. But presently, we are starting to realize that, like, we don't have to be all things to all people. And we really, so in this Judgment card, there are like a million skeletons here, and they're all doing, it looks like they're having a good old time, but looks can be deceiving, right? There's so much going on. We've got people dancing, somebody's playing the piano, there's a guy back there with the cello, somebody's just like walking forward. So I feel like, and then in this card, it's just like 3 people in a boat leaving all this nonsense behind in the water and just moving forward with what they need, right? So it's like you're starting to understand, I don't need to be all things to all people. And it's not my job. And I don't want to be this my way or the highway rigid person. So you're starting to, this is what I just heard. I am starting to see that I only need to be for these people in the boat. I need to take the most important people in my boat with me, and we need to move forward. And all of this stuff that I don't need to, I feel like you've convinced yourself that you have to show up for all these people. You have to lead at work. You have to lead at home. You have to, and what you're starting to understand, and that's turned you into this kind of like, it's my way or the highway kind of person, and you're not really loving that about yourself. So you're starting to realize, I don't need to be all things to all people. I just need to set my priorities and let anything else stay stuck in this water here while the stuff that I really need and to prioritize, I'm going to take with me in this boat. Okay? And the 6 of, this is usually about kind of like leaving the burdens behind that are holding you back. So I feel like you're starting to realize that, like, you don't need to be all things to all people. And the good news is you're going to get in this boat and you're going to reprioritize, and you're going to let the things fall away that don't really need you. Like, you've convinced yourself some of this stuff is more important than it is. But the good news is your future position card here is the King of Wands. Okay? And that's good, because the King of Wands, look at him. He seems calm. He's confident. He's sitting on his throne, and he's just like, look, I'm here. I got my ish together. I'm happy. I'm balanced. And that's in the future position. So it seems like you're currently in the process of like reprioritizing, and you're letting the things that really aren't as important in the grand scheme of things fall to the wayside. Can I get clarity on this Five of Swords? What is going to be the outcome on this my way or the highway thinking? Let's see if we're going to be able to break that pattern and let that go. What is the outcome on this my way or the highway thinking Five of Swords? Up. Okay. Well, the bottom of the deck is Six of Wands, which is victory. Okay. And the clarification cards I got is okay, I feel like you're going to get this, it's my way or the highway thinking and patterns under control and become this King of Wands and get your victory. Okay. However, there's a warning here that if you can't get that my way or the highway thinking under control, you're gonna lose a relation. Like the Two of Cups is a partnership card here, and then the Four of Cups is about like loss and like not taking the offer of the cup, right? So I feel like this is basically saying you have a relationship or a partnership that if you don't get this thinking in check, you will lose that relationship. But the good news is, it looks like you're going to get it in check if you can stay mindful, do the work, right? Let's get an advice healing card. Ooh. Let's see, what is the advice here for those watching? What is the advice? One, please. Please and thank you. These new decks, still breaking them in. That it? All right. Oh, unconditional love is the advice. Number 42. 42 may mean something to somebody, or 6. These cards are new, so I'm still getting to know them. And so far, I found this book. It's good. Okay. Continuing to love someone no matter what may be difficult. However, love is always worthwhile. You are made up of love 100%. This is the truth of your very being. No matter how upset you are, how much you beat yourself up or unknowingly hurt other people, you will always have love residing in you. Your heart is seeking love at every second of your life. Loving unconditionally means giving love without expectation. Being and giving the love you want to experience in your relationships can be the hardest lesson of life. A big part of unconditional love is forgiveness. You limit your ability to achieve unconditional love when you blame someone for past wrong or rehash past sufferings or mistakes. Beating yourself up and blaming your sadness on the past only triggers more distress in your life. You have a purpose in life and you have a choice. You can let the past haunt you and inflict more suffering in your life, or you can forgive yourself and get back to living your purpose. 2 fairies depict this message. One fairy has her hands over her heart as if she is receiving love. The other fairy is openly expressing love to her friend. The rainbow hues symbolize magical blessings. Rainbows remind us of the benefits that come from hoping and believing that unconditional love heals all things. There is so much love being shown to you every day. Unconditional love is your greatest challenge and your greatest joy. Okay, so in relation to this reading, what this is saying, because I'm getting the messages, somebody may get this confused and think they have to give more love to this partnership situation so that it does not implode, and that is not the message here. The message here is you need to give more love to yourself. You need to stop judging yourself for your mistakes, because this my way or the highway thinking is damaging and isolating, right? And the more isolated you become, the more then you're beating yourself up, and the only voice that you're hearing, which you're programming your brain, right? So this is basically saying, when you make mistakes, when you screw up, when you feel like judging yourself, you need to step into this unconditional love. You need to say, no matter what I've done, I still am loved by the universe. I come from love. I have love within me, and I can give myself the love that I crave. Because that my way or the highway thinking is really just an illusion that thinks it keeps us protected, right? It's like, I'm protected and safe because I know what to expect, because I've created all the parameters. But that is just an illusion. And the only way you're going to be able to break that illusion is to love yourself, and to love yourself through your mistakes. I know it's easier said than done. Trust me. I'm 45 and I'm just now at the place where I can love myself like wholeheartedly, even my darkness, even my screw ups, even my flaws and qualities of myself that I don't love. I do love them now, right? But it took me years to get here. So that's all this is saying, is this is something you need to work on moving forward. And the next 2 weeks will be a good time to do that. Okay? So I hope this was helpful. We're going to want to be kind, be authentic, and be aware. I'm wishing you peace, love, and light. Have a wonderful rest of your day.